I'm glad to serve her.
Okay, good morning. These are the classrooms that I touch in one way or another in different districts, but this is not limited to. I do kind of a little bit of everything. I've seen this job expand a little bit over the years. This is my 3rd year here in this position, but my 8th year at Case. I used to teach in District 89. These are the self-contained classrooms throughout your districts and the numbers. So they're a little bit hard to see, but I wanted to kind of focus a little bit on these early childhood classrooms. That's where I'm really seeing the numbers increase. I get a call probably once a week from a director looking for a spot. So that is something I always bring to the director's table. In District 15, there are 8 students. I got a call this week about a 9th student. In 44, and the numbers are a little deceiving because there are 3-year-olds in the pipeline for these classrooms, or they will turn 3. So when you see a classroom with 5, those classrooms are really at 8 or 9 by January. So we're really looking at those numbers. In District 44, I have a classroom that could potentially be at 12, which is huge for an EC classroom. So we're constantly having those conversations, and I'm watching that. In District 89, they opened, thank you, a classroom and a half last year. So those are quickly filling up, and I'm constantly calling to beg, borrow, plead for a spot, do anything. So in those classrooms in particular, but I get called from building admin a great deal when gen ed teachers or other personnel in the building need some coaching on students with more significant disabilities in their classrooms. I do a lot of paraprofessional coaching. As you all know, there's a paraprofessional shortage. So when a paraprofessional gets in a classroom, they're thrown right in. So I do a lot of in-classroom coaching on working with students with significant disability. I am doing a lot of classroom management and building-wide looking at systems. I'm in a district right now 2 days a week for the last 4 weeks looking at their building-wide systems and working with the assistant principal and principal on what we can do to tweak that in terms of behavior in those buildings. I'm also working directly in the classrooms, in the gen ed classrooms in that building with students that have more significant behavioral disabilities and working on their classroom management systems. Early childhood support, I do a lot of training in districts on sick days, on days, release days. Yesterday I got called into a district to work with a group of teachers that they gave subs to because they were looking for more support. I evaluate. I know the district classrooms and I know most, if not all, of the students in the classrooms in all of that list. So I know the supports that are in place in those classrooms. So when I get a call from a director of move-in and we take a look at an IEP and we're not sure, we work together to talk about where that student would best be placed, and then I'm in constant conversation with the other team at the other building to get a student placed. A big part of my job is DLM, which is the alternate assessment for students with their most significant disabilities. And there's a training component to that for teachers yearly. So whether you're new or then there's a new training teacher component and a returning every single year. So I make sure for directors that, and this is through the K through 8s, make sure that all the teachers are trained. I have over 60 teachers. Make sure all their students are rostered with students moving between districts. I make sure that all the students are rostered and ready to take DLM. And I have a nice little email from a director yesterday who said, that's a huge headache off my plate, and she wants you to know that. And then curriculum. So as this job has changed, I've seen the curriculum change in the classrooms. A lot of classrooms are using the gen ed curriculum and they're modifying it, but also for your really significant students, curriculum has changed. It used to be all the same in every single classroom across those self-contained across the co-op, and now everybody is using different curriculum. So I spend a lot of time studying up on curriculum and going in and working and training, kind of taking some of that time off the teachers' plates so they can, so we can get down and dirty into the, there's not a lot of time, as we know, and into the curriculum and use it as soon as possible. So those are just a few things I do. With DLM also, I work with the state, and they came out with an instructional tool for teaching and assessing students with the most significant disabilities. So I presented at IAASE on that, and I'm working with teachers now. Teachers can assess students along the way, not just at the end of the year. So I'm working on that too. I sent out a survey after I work with building principals, teachers, paraprofessionals. That's all. They answer this out. Every survey I sent out, 100% strongly agree to every question on there. And these are just some example questions. And then there's an open comment section. There were some really nice comments, but I thought this one was this is my last slide about, I just thought it was really nice. It evidently came from an administrator, it looks like, but just kind of about this position. Thank you.
That's a great, that's very complimentary.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Does anybody have questions? I'm sorry I moved through that fast, but it's Friday and I know you all